Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalia Leigh. I'm an indie author and freelance editor, and today I'm going to be giving you some tips for working from home. And I know that I've given a couple of tips about this in a different video, but I scrolled through my videos today and I cannot for the life of me remember where I talked about these, and I actually got a question on one of my recent videos about tips for working from home, so I figured I would compile all of my tips into one video. So as many of you probably know, I am working full-time as a freelance editor. I am loving it. It is absolutely amazing, but it has really been a change from working full-time as a pet sitter. I used to have a pet sitting business and I technically still have it, but with everything that's going on in the world, we have not been doing any pet sitting. So I used to structure my days around pet sitting, driving around, going on dog walks, visiting a bunch of clients. Now I sit in my office all day and I work, and it has definitely been a change being at home all the time, working from home, not being out exercising and getting out in the sun and stuff like that. So there have definitely been changes that I've had to make to my schedule and my routine and even to how I do things to try to make working at home a productive and positive experience. And I know a lot of us are working from home right now. So if you are looking for tips either on working from home or just like working on your book at home, you know, more ways to structure your time, feel more productive and feel healthy while you're doing it, then this is the video for you. So we're gonna talk about water a little later, but go ahead and grab your glass of water if you wanna feel super healthy, and let's dive right into this video. Okay, my first tip kind of has to do with a morning routine or having a morning routine. So whatever your morning routine was while you were working out of the home, or even if you don't really have one right now, I think it's a really good idea to either develop a morning routine or get back into the routine that you had when you were working outside of the home. So for me, that might be getting up at a decent hour, eating a good breakfast, getting ready for the day, getting dressed for the day. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is one that I kind of consistently struggle with and have to always kind of push myself to do. I am somebody who loves comfortable clothes. I don't like being in jeans. I don't like being in anything too restrictive, hence my like loose and flowy clothing. I do my best work when I'm super comfortable. However, I also know that if I'm sitting in my pajamas all day, I do not feel productive. I do not feel like I am doing my best work. So I've really learned that by getting up at a good hour, getting ready, having my breakfast, and like feeling prepared before I come into the office and sit down at the desk, it really helps me because I don't feel like I'm supposed to be like, you know, leisurely sitting around and playing video games and just like hanging out watching Netflix. When I get dressed, I feel like I'm in work mode and I feel like I'm supposed to be productive and I'm supposed to be getting things done. And there's something about the like mental switch that turns on when I feel like I'm prepared that really helps me get my work done, stay on track, and feel productive. So if you are somebody who has a tendency to just lounge around the house in your pajamas all day, I understand the need for comfortable clothing, but at least change out of your pajamas into something else that makes you feel like you can be comfortable while also working and being productive throughout the day. All right, tip number 2 is to make yourself a to-do list. And if you guys have been here for a while, or if you've watched, you know, a lot of my previous videos, you'll know that I love bullet journaling. Bullet journaling keeps me sane. Without my bullet journal, I would be an absolute mess. I would be completely lost because my bullet journal controls my entire life. Like from my daily to-do list to a list of all my editing clients and formatting clients to what I'm growing in my garden this year. Like my bullet journal contains everything. So if you don't have a journal already, maybe think about starting one. But the point of this is to make yourself a to-do list either every day, or what I like to do is sit down on Sunday evenings and make my spread for the week and make my to-do list that way. And going along with this, what I have found really helps me is that when I'm making my to-do list for the day or for the week, I prioritize what absolutely needs to get done first. So let's say today, for example, today is Monday. I had a sample manuscript critique due to a client today. So that was on the very top of my to-do list. That was the first thing I needed to get done because it was due today. I could not put it off. So that was at the top of my to-do list. And then the second thing on my to-do list is a copy edit that is due to a client on Wednesday. So that is the next most important thing, the most pressing thing I need to do is finish that copy edit because it is due back to my client on Wednesday. So I go through every single day of the week and I make myself a to-do list prioritizing what absolutely must be done first, because let's face it, we only have a limited amount of energy. My brain only operates at full capacity for a percentage of the day. I cannot copy edit for 10 hours straight and not lose some brain functioning after a certain amount of time. So I always make sure that my most pressing or most difficult tasks are at the top of my to-do list, so I will get to those first. And then other things, let's say I have like an outline critique that's not due for a few weeks, that would be at the bottom of the to-do list because it's not super pressing. I need to work on it, but it's not the most important thing. So that ends up at the bottom of the to-do list. So just by one, writing a to-do list, and two, prioritizing what absolutely must be done or what is more difficult to get done can really help you not only stay on track, but spend your energy in the right places so that you're not exerting all of your energy on like small tasks. You're getting the big and important tasks done first thing in the morning, right away when you have the most energy. Okay, tip number 3 is one that I've kind of learned recently, and that is if you have an office or a private space where you can work, go into that space and close the door, especially during times like right now where families have a tendency to be home together. It could really help to just close the door because it gives you your space and you're quiet, and it also alerts to the rest of your family that you're busy and you're working and they need to try to not disturb you. Now, I don't have children. I've never had the experience of having children around, so I can't give you any tips on that. I'm sure you parents out there will have to find your own ways of kind of managing children in the household while also getting your work done. But personally, I like to close my office door. It really, really helps. But something else that I have recently learned has to do with working in the same space as somebody. So Greg and I are both working for Enchanted Ink Publishing now. I am sitting in the office right now. Greg's desk is over here on my left and my desk is over on the right. And we sit kind of like back to back in here and we will both be working on things. He might be working on the website and I'm working on copy editing. And what I've noticed is that Greg has a tendency to talk to himself while he works. I am very quiet while I work. All of my ideas are in my head, but Greg just speaks his ideas. He just talks all the time. And I have the personality where I'm constantly turning around like, what was that? What are you saying? Do you need my help? I am always listening for what he has to say. So even if he's just mumbling to himself, it distracts me. So if you can't close the office door, or if your family is around you for some reason, what I've learned is really helpful is putting in noise canceling headphones and playing quiet, relaxing music. Because for me personally, when I get those noise canceling headphones in, I can't hear Greg talking to himself and mumbling to himself. So he can just go on his merry way talking to himself while he works, and I can continue being focused on my work without constantly turning around to try to see if he's talking to me and trying to see if he needs something. So that has absolutely been a game changer for me. I keep my noise canceling headphones right there in front of me at all times so that I can just pop them in whenever Greg comes to work and starts talking to himself. So either close the office door or, put something on that can cancel out the rest of the world so you can just focus on what you need to get done. All right, tip number 4. Now, this is one that has really helped me. Granted, there are some days that this doesn't work as well as I would like, and that is to have structured work hours. So set yourself a start time for your work. Maybe that's 8 a.m., maybe that's 10 a.m., just depending on kind of your sleep schedule and what works for you and when your mind is at its highest operating capacity. So set a start time for yourself, set a lunch hour, and actually take that lunch hour, step away from your desk if you can, get some fresh air if possible, and then schedule yourself a couple of little breaks throughout the day. Even if we're working at home, we still need to get up from the desk, walk around, move around a little bit, take a break, give our brain a rest. And I find that by structuring that time into my day, I can kind of respect that time a bit more than if I just sat at my desk for hours and hours and hours on end and let myself get really hungry and didn't have any breaks and didn't have a lunch hour. Structure works for me, and if structure is something that works for you, then you might really consider this. Maybe even like write it on a sticky note and put it up on your wall or put it on your computer monitor so that you remember, okay, 12:30 to 1:30, I'm taking my lunch hour, and then I have 2 15-minute breaks throughout the day. And then you can work more diligently knowing what time you have a break and what time you'll be off of work. So that one might work for you. Okay, tip number 5, and I'm sure we have all had experience with this, and it is becoming distracted by the cell phone. Oh my gosh, I get distracted by my cell phone incredibly easily, and it happens fast, and it happens without me even realizing. Like, I might be, diligently working, and then a text message comes through. So then I read the text message, and then an email comes through, so I read the email, and then maybe I look at Instagram, and suddenly I'm like in this downward spiral of just becoming more and more distracted on my cell phone. So unless I'm using my cell phone timer for like timed working sprints, which might be something that works for you, unless I'm using my phone for that, I try to not have my phone near me. I do not want it sitting on the desk. I do not want the ringer turned on. And personally, I don't take work phone calls or anything like that. So this is something that, I have the luxury of putting my phone on silent and putting it in the bedroom or in the kitchen or the bathroom, just getting it away from me so that I can't constantly be picking it up to look at it. Now, if you are somebody who kind of has to use your phone throughout the day, then I'm not sure how well this one will work for you. Maybe you can have like scheduled amounts of time where you have your phone by you, but I just know that if I have my cell phone within reach, I will pick up that phone and I will get distracted. If you want to have your cell phone in the same room as you, maybe just put it on silent and flip it over. Have it like face down so that you can't tell if an email comes in, you can't tell if a text message comes in, because if I have my cell phone next to me, I will ultimately get distracted and lose who knows how much time just scrolling through my phone. So if you can, try to have your phone on silent or in another room if you can swing it. Okay, tip number 6 is, if you can, to try to get a little bit of exercise like in the middle of your day. So this is something that I have actually recently started in the past couple of weeks. I think I mentioned in my editor vlog, I will link to it down below, but I mentioned in that vlog that I sit all the time, and I do have a standing desk now. And again, I will link my standing desk below if you're interested in getting one of these kind of for your health. And having a standing desk has helped because it gets me out of the chair, it gets me standing, and that helps me feel better throughout the day. But I've also realized that doing a very short like exercise video in the middle of the day really helps my productivity, it helps me feel better, and it gives my brain a boost of energy. So I like to try to do a workout video at about 3 p.m., 3 o'clock in the afternoon if possible. So I like to switch it up. I might do a Pilates, I might do a yoga, I might do like a Tabata or a high intensity interval training, a HIIT workout. So it just depends. I have quite a few people on YouTube that I like watching. Yoga with Adriene is amazing. I really like Pop Sugar. I like Blogilates. So there are a bunch of people on YouTube that you can find that do amazing workout videos for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, like however much time you have in the middle of the day or toward the end of the day to get a really quick workout in. Let me tell you, it'll make your body feel good. It'll give your brain a boost of energy, and it just, personally for me, makes the end of my day more productive than if I didn't exercise, because usually around 3 p.m. I'm starting to feel lethargic, I'm unmotivated, I want to be done with work, and I actually look forward to taking a 20-minute break to do my exercise, and then I feel good the rest of the day getting my work done. So if you can, try to get in a little bit of exercise, even if it's only 10 to 15 minutes, and I think it'll really help you. Okay, tip number 7 is to drink more water throughout the day. And this might sound silly, but I actually write, drink water on my to-do list. And I try to drink at least 3 glasses a day. I don't know how much water is in here, but I try to drink at least 3 of these a day. And personally, by putting it on my to-do list, every time I look at my to-do list, it reminds me, oh, I need to be drinking more water. So it'll get me up out of the chair, into the kitchen, pouring myself another glass of water. And I have found that if I am consuming at least 3 glasses of water a day, I feel more positive, I'm in a better mood, I feel more productive, and I get way more done. So don't starve yourself of water. Don't sit at your desk all day not having a single thing to drink. And I would also say, personally for myself, I don't like to drink sugary drinks. I don't like to drink anything that is too high in caffeine, because then that just makes me feel jittery and it makes me not feel very well. So personally, water is my go-to. I will have usually 2 cups of decaf coffee in the morning, like while I'm answering my emails, just kind of like waking up to the day. I love to have my 2 cups of decaf coffee throughout the day, at least 3 glasses of water, and then I like to have 1 to 2 mugs of tea at night. So I try to get in all of my hydration, and believe me, it makes a huge difference. At least for me and my productivity in my workday, if I'm drinking water, I feel 100% better than if I was, dehydrated and not feeling very well. So if you don't already have a glass of water, maybe pause the video, go pour yourself one, and then come on back for my last 2 tips. Okay, tip number 8 is similar to one of the earlier tips. I don't remember what number it was. It's similar to the tip to like structure your day and know what time you're going to have a lunch break and what time you're going to have breaks. And that is to know what time of day you want to be done working. Now, I don't know if this is something that you guys have struggled with, but I know that I have so much work every single day that I could literally work from morning to night all the way through and not get it all done, just because I have so much constantly in rotation, so many clients I'm working with, so many videos I'm filming. I could be writing Whiskey City. Like, I have what feels to me limitless amounts of work that I could just do forever. And I have had to learn how to say enough is enough and set a time of day that you're going to say, I'm done. Because if you are, leaving the home to go to work, you have scheduled work hours. You know what time you're supposed to clock in and what time you're supposed to clock out. And those are relatively rigid, I would say, in most workplaces. But when you're at home, suddenly all of that kind of goes out the window, and you might be getting to work really late. You might be staying up late to try to get your work done. So I have found that it really helps me to set a time where my work day is over. Personally, that's about 6 o'clock. I used to try to finish up work about 4, but I just have more clients that I'm working with now, more to get done. I'm prepping Pistol Daisy for release. I'm trying to work on Whiskey City, although it's not going all that well, to be honest with you, and I will talk about this in another video. But I try to finish up work by 6 p.m., and that doesn't mean that there aren't days where I have to work late. There are absolutely some days where I find myself working until 8 o'clock. Last week, I think it was, like last Thursday or something, I was working until like 10:30, like sitting in bed with my laptop working while Greg was watching Netflix. And I know that's not good, and I try not to do that, but there are some days where I have to get work done, and it's like I don't have a choice. But if you have a choice, and if you can set a time of day to just be done with your work and to spend time with your family, have a nice meal, just relax, decompress, have some you time, then stick to that and respect it. If you want to be done with work at 5 p.m., then get your work done and be done at 5 p.m. Don't let it drag on until suddenly it's 8:30 and you haven't had dinner and your family misses you and wants to spend time with you and you're still stuck in the office. So again, you'd have to remain focused and productive throughout the day to get that work done. But if you're setting a time in the evening to be done with work, I find that it often helps motivate me, because I know, okay, my day is done at 6, I need to get all my work done before then. And it really helps me get my work done and also to have time to myself in the evening. And I think a lot of us here and, on AuthorTube know how it feels to just be like workaholics that work all the time. And that's definitely something I've struggled with. But setting a time of day to be done with work can help you correct that problem. Okay, so my last tip of the day, tip number 9, is not so much an actual tip or something to do as it is a way of thought and an approach to working from home, and that is to just enjoy it. I know that some people have probably been forced into this position. Maybe you're not all that excited to be working from home. Maybe you were excited at first and suddenly it's just become incredibly difficult and you're struggling with it, and I understand. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you know, for years I was very used to just being outside all the time, you know, driving around in the car, listening to music, playing with dogs all day. And now things have really shifted for me, and suddenly I'm working at home all the time. You know, especially right now, I can go days and days and days or weeks without even leaving the house. And it can be tough, and there are definitely, I think, hurdles to overcome when you're working from home. But I think, like, at the root of it all, it's really an enjoyable experience. I love being home, you know, during the day. I love being able to set my own work hours. I love being here with the cats. Like, I get to hang out with Mew and Tifa all day long. It makes me happy. I know it makes them happy. And it's not easy. You know, you're going to have to find a way to make it work, and hopefully these tips will help you. But I do think that if you generally approach it with a positive mindset and a positive attitude, then it will make the entire experience so much more enjoyable than if you're feeling frustrated all the time and overwhelmed and approaching it from kind of a negative mindset. I definitely believe that there's power in positive thinking. So enjoy it, you know, look around and think about all the good things you get out of working from home. Maybe you get extra cups of coffee in the morning, maybe you get to sleep in for a couple of hours, or, you know, just being able to like be home with your family and your pets, I think is really kind of a gift, and it's something to enjoy while you can. So thank you guys so much for being here and for listening to my 9 tips for working from home. Again, I think these can apply to people that are, you know, working from home just like generally for their career, or authors who are trying to get more work done, but maybe you're feeling distracted and unmotivated for your project. I think by having structure to your day and adhering to some of these tips, you're going to get a lot more work done and probably feel much better about it at the end of the day. So I hope these tips will work for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you have questions or suggestions for topics, you can leave them down below. If you didn't already know, I am a freelance editor. You can come visit me at enchantedinkpublishing.com. We offer copy editing, proofreading, content editing, book design, and more. We are expanding our services all the time. I have officially, you guys, brought on 2 more editors to my team, which is incredibly exciting. So Enchanted Ink now has a team of editors. I am just like over the moon excited about how Enchanted Ink is growing right now. And I really have you guys to thank for that, and for, you know, allowing me the pleasure of working with you and bringing your books to life. So if you are one of my clients, or maybe even a future client, thank you so much for the trust you put in me with your hard work. I really do appreciate it. All right, guys, that is all I have for you today. Remember, Pistol Daisy comes out on June 9th. The Kindle version is up for pre-order now if you are interested, and the paperback version goes live again on June 9th. So if you're somebody who would prefer an actual paperback copy, don't worry, I've got your back. It's coming out on June 9th. It's just not available for pre-order. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get back to work. I hope you're going to get back to work and feel super productive today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.